Hey everybody, how you doing? This is your host Ronald Smith here. I want to welcome you to 21st Century Authors podcast here on the Music Industry Makeover. And if this is your first time joining us, hey, we welcome you. We like to highlight those authors out there that are making a difference, writing some great quality content material for this generation, for this 21st century. And so, again, thank you so much. Spread the word out. We have a great special guest here with us today. Okay, and her name is Dr. Nicole B. Simpson. Yes. How are you doing there, ma'am?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much, Ronald, for having me. Thank you, 21st Century Authors, for allowing me this opportunity and this platform to just talk about dreaming, even in the midst of traumatic situations.
Awesome, awesome, man. She has been around for a while. She's published a few books, but we're going to talk about this one book right here that she has. It's called Dare to Dream: Pushing Past Your Pain and Pushing Past Your Pain to Pursue Purpose. And yes, I definitely like that because a lot of folks cannot seem to push past that pain or so in their life, and they end up missing out or not fulfilling what God has for them. So definitely. So with the first question, I want to ask, for most authors have one specific reason for writing a book. What is your reason for writing this book?
So I actually have to start by letting everyone know that I actually originally wrote this book 10 years ago. And
Wow.
this is a revised and updated version of the original Dare to Dream. And the reason why I felt compelled to revisit this dialogue or this conversation is because we are in a really traumatic time. We went into this new decade anticipating that life was going to be grand, especially in the church. People had vision, purpose, goals, objectives, and so they desired to have things be different for them at the turn of 2020. And then all of a sudden we got hit with COVID-19 and the entire world shut down.
Right.
And so in the midst of shutting down, when you have all of these grandeur plans and you really feel like you're finally connected to what it is that God has called for you to do, and you see that your well laid out plans have all but dissipated because you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, you can't touch anyone,
Right.
you begin to get a little despondent or a little distressed under the pressure of what it is that we're dealing with now. And so when I originally wrote Dare to Dream, I wrote it from a place of me being overwhelmed and full of despair and depressed, dealing with my own trauma of years ago, but layered by September 11th, 2001. So,
Right.
in this regard, I've been able to revisit it because I believe that I was able to dare to dream in the midst of what it was that I was going through a mere decade ago. And so I think I have something that will help other individuals to dare to dream in the midst of their particular pain so that they could still achieve the goals. Because I say, what a difference a decade makes. And so if I can help navigate someone through those corridors of challenges, then I think this book is for them.
Awesome. For those who may be in the chat room, we got 16 people that's watching us right now. Hey, feel free if you have any questions that you would like to ask, and any comments concerning this book by Dr. Nicole B. Simpson, feel free. All right, and we will address you. Awesome. Okay, so again, we're talking with Dr. Nicole B. Simpson, and so for us with this book, what is the primary benefit above all others that that a potential reader may get from reading your book? So
I think it's a step-by-step manual and actually wrote it in that way so that as you are conversing with me, and I think that's one of the things that people say most often, it feels like you're in dialogue, in conversation with me. And so as I am bringing up thoughts that other people have been oftentimes afraid to say, what I do give individuals the opportunity to do is to have space to confront those thoughts immediately. So I'll give you an example. One of my chapters is titled Dream Killers. You have all of these aspirational dreams, goals, and objectives. You begin to share it with other individuals, and they'll be the first ones to tell you what you can't do. Is how is that possible? How are you going to make that happen? You're not qualified. And so the question then becomes, well, how do I deal with that? How do I process that? How do I not allow what they're saying about me to impede upon what it is I'm looking to do? And so we don't ask you in this book, we don't ask you to just think about it. I give space and opportunity for you to write it down. So not only are you reading my story, what it is, the tools and the tips that I'm providing for you, but you're also beginning to address head on what it is that you've gone through, what it is that you want, what it is that you want to have different. And why is that important? It's important because people don't realize the power of writing. If we understand the power of journaling and the power of writing, you can take something that's conceptual in your mind. The moment that you write it down, you give it life. You give it space and opportunity for it to grow, and because, there are individuals of faith, there's something to be said when the scripture says, write the vision, make it plain. But to build on that is critical. But if you don't write down what's in your head initially, it rarely makes its way down to materializing. And so writing it down is very helpful.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. And I'm learning that myself for us writing things down, how powerful that really is. So, I mean, we think so little of it, but yes, I am a living witness of that. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. What is the most important idea you are sharing in your book that will add value to a reader's life?
That we all go through trauma. We all go through hard situations. If I were to speak of my own life, and some of this is identified not only in this particular book, but I have multiple writings. But one of the things that I've dealt with was childhood trauma, and individuals can understand that. I grew up in not the best of environments. There was sexual abuse, there was child abuse, and other like types of abusive behavior in my environment. And so you already start at a deficit from that fact. So how do you pick yourself up from the bootstraps and continue to move forward? But when we look at it, I think many of us can identify with different areas of trauma in our lives. Does that stop us from dreaming? Does that stop us from pursuing purpose? How do we get past? How do we recognize? And it's not always a get past. It might be an acceptance, because someone, may have found themselves in a position where they lost a relative, a loved one, their parent at an early age. And so they had to grow up quickly. How do I get past that? How do I or allow that to be adopted into who it is that I am and still move forward? For someone who has not had food security, or someone that has not had, space or housing, adequate housing, how do I go to college, even if I'm young? How do I withstand the pressure of, those things? Individuals that may have been bullies, and someone has always told you what you can't do and who you're not and who you'll never be. How do you overcome those negative things that have happened in your life to still pursue what God has created for you to do? I think that's one of the things that can oftentimes be most challenging, but also be liberating when we figure out methodology. One thing that I will tell every individual is that in this book, you're going to get methodology, not just, oh, we can make it, we can do it. I'm not merely a cheerleader. I am a coach in this as well, to say, listen, this is what I did, but if you do this, take this step, go here and there. And I found that information has been most invaluable, because it's things that if we desire to have life be different, we can have life be different. And so that's what I've been working on.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, if you have any questions or comments or so that you would like to ask this author here, feel free to go ahead and post them while we're on here. Since we're in this COVID-19 situation, so I believe this book would definitely be a great catalyst for people to jumpstart their dreams and goals and purposes. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I do. And actually, it's because of what we've experienced in this season of being shut down, or in this season of quarantine, that really made me revisit Dare to Dream in the first place, because we all have been given a measure of time now. The world has slowed down. And so COVID-19 has allowed certain things to rise up. Depression, isolation. We have had individuals that have dealt with food insecurity, financial insecurity, and individuals are looking at their lives and saying, I can't endure this. So if you've had that job, which is just over broke oftentimes, I try to tell individuals, how do I take matters into my own hand? How do I not only, at least if I'm not thinking from an economic perspective, which is where my level of expertise is. But if I'm not thinking from at least an economic perspective, how am I pursuing something that's going to make me inherently happy? That I'm going to have some level of satisfaction within. And so that doesn't always come with a price tag, but it certainly comes with adding value not only to your life and the lives of others. So we've all been sat down. It's so funny, when you think about it, everyone has the space and the time because you couldn't go anywhere. And so we're all dealing with and confronting ourselves. What is it that, and this is a question that I ask and I pose to all of your listeners. If money were not an issue, what would be your life's purpose?
I've heard that before. Yes.
Money is not an issue. What would be your life's purpose? And whatever that thing is that is gnawing on the inside of you, wherever it is that you feel like you can contribute. Now, it may arrive or derive from experiences that you may have had in the past. It may derive from your trauma. It may derive from the fact that you found yourself naturally good at or gravitating or have a heart or a passion for a certain sect or entity of individuals. It can derive from any of those things. It's not negative or positive. It's not limited in nature. But when you find that, there is a responsibility, and this is what I'm saying. Like, we are individuals of faith. The first thing I'm always going to do is I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to pray again. And then whatever is resonating in my spirit, what I'm going to do after that is do the research. And so, once you get a concept in your mind, and this is where all of us having been sat down, we have the ability to look at it and see where it is we're standing in our own lives. We get to do the research to see, is this something that I can do? Is this something that will bring me some level of contentment? Is this a place where I can have a profound impact on the lives of other individuals? Do I have something that I can contribute to the discussion or the dialogue in said entity? And so when we begin to do that, that's where, this really will be helpful during this period of COVID-19, because not everything is traumatic, but traumatic experiences bring out the best in everybody. I want to also say this, understand this. Millionaires are oftentimes birthed in moments of depression and crises. Now, we all say the wealth is, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. Well, don't you want a transference right now? But if you don't have infrastructure that allows transference to take place, how are you going to benefit when the transference of wealth is going to happen? I humbly submit to you that if you have your purpose and wherever it is you're supposed to be, you have infrastructure that the Lord can use as a mechanism to bless you.
Awesome. Well said, man. Hey, you are giving some great nuggets right there. Man, awesome. I do want to ask, because I apologize. Your is there a website that folks can contact you at?
Absolutely. First of all, anyone can reach me on NicoleBSimpson.com everywhere. So that's all of the social media outlets. My name is who it is that I am, NicoleBSimpson.com. And you'll be able to see some of my, bios, works, and perspectives on things as well.
Really? Okay, NicoleBSimpson.com. That's it right there?
Yes, sir. That's it.
That's okay. Awesome. Yes. You all definitely want to get this book here. Okay, Dare to Dream, Pushing Past Your Pain to Pursue Purpose. Who's your target audience for this book?
I think this is a book for everyone. If I can just sort of share, when I first envisioned this 10 years ago, I wrote it being aspirational, being in a bad place in my life. And one individual saw it. I was beginning to market and promote it well before I even had the money for it. And so that right there is a miracle. And then if you're pursuing your dreams, God will provide. I'm a living witness of that the first time around. But a young lady that was, in charge of the Police Athletic League in East Orange, New Jersey, saw the title of the book. And I was just like, coming soon, Dare to Dream, and I was just putting the marketing material out. And she called me and said, I have a group of young ladies that I would love for you to come speak, and we'd like to buy a copy of your book. Now, I'm telling you this for a reason, because the first time around, when she did that, I didn't have the finances to produce the book, but because she had called and inquired, because I had walked in obedience and put the information out there, they pre-ordered their books. It was enough for my entire production, so that when the book first came out, it came out where if you're an artist or entrepreneur or anything, you understand, you operate in the red until you get to the black. So we usually hear Black Friday, Thanksgiving, many retail outlets, they don't go into the black until Black Friday. This book 10 years ago came out in the black as a result of it. Now, that was my first target market of individuals who I had never even thought about, were teenage girls, because it was for her group. Since then, women's organizations, men's organizations, I was privileged the first few years to travel around the country with Dare to Dream then, and realize that it helps everyone. Now, because of this season of trauma, there are more ministries, which at the time they were communicating with me as well, and I was ever so grateful. But because I deal with trauma more specifically, and in the last 10 years, one of the things that I did do was pursue education to the highest level. So I became literally a doctor. And let me just tell this to your audience. In 2010, I didn't have any college degrees. I had none. I was attending Oral Roberts 1-2 classes at a time. I received my bachelor's in 2013. I then went on for my master's of divinity. I received that in 2016. And then I went on and I went to Boston University, and I graduated from Boston University in 2019. Ergo, I am now officially Reverend Dr. Nicole B. Simpson. And this was a part of Dreams and Purposes. So I'm saying that to say that at that time when I was doing it, I didn't have any of those things when I started Dare to Dream. But because I did not limit my dreams to a certain period of time, i.e., which we always make plans for a year or a couple of months if we don't see progress by then. But I encourage individuals, that's why I'm telling you what a difference a decade makes. When you look from a broader perspective and give yourself permission to have some good years and some bad years, but see where it is that you want to go, you'd be amazed at where it is that you will find yourself at the end of a 10-year journey. And I'm a living witness that if you can push past all of those incidental and isolated painful moments, that you will still be able to pursue your purpose. COVID-19, again, I can't tell you how often I have to say this. It sat us all down. The whole world has been sat down. The whole world is experiencing financial insecurity because we're uncertain. I mean, 30 million people lost their jobs, in a matter of 6 weeks. We have had an epic number of deaths. I think the death toll is close to 70,000 in a matter of 6 to 8 weeks. Our lives have been flipped, turned upside down. And so the question then becomes, are you going to stay in this painful moment in time? Or are you going to seize the opportunity that may present itself because you have been granted time to explore what your purpose is?
That's well said. I love it. That's what I'm talking about right there. I apologize because there's the chat section is not working for some reason, and so but I'm gonna get that situated because I want to say hello to Christopher out there, King Jordan that's watching, Antonio Barnes, everyone, Bridget, Francis, and thank you all so much for tuning in. So, like I say, normally I would post the comments on here, but I got to see what's going on. But any last parting words that you want to tell the audience out there? So again, your information is already posted up there. You all need to go and definitely get this book right here, Dare to Dream: Pushing Past Your Pain to Pursue Purpose.
Well, first of all, I do want to say thank you so very much for allowing me this opportunity to come on 21st Century Authors. Ronald, it is my pleasure to do such a thing. I also want to encourage every individual under the sound of my voice to recognize that all of us have been on this earth for a purpose. You know, we all have been given a unique and a distinctive assignment in life. And if you do not do it, it will not get done. I believe that the Dr. Benjamin Mays is the one that indicated that. And so if you're not doing what it is you were created to do, we're missing out in society at large. And so I'm missing out on what it is you have to bring to the table. Dare to dream, pushing past your pain to pursue your purpose will help you get unstuck in your life. It will help you to ride out the hard times. We are in conversation. This is my gift to you, is the opportunity to be in conversation. And so if we're in conversation, you don't feel like what you're doing alone. And so if there's any way that I can support you in that endeavor, know that Dr. Nicole B. Simpson is here for you.
Well, Doctor, we sure appreciate you. Thank God for your testimony, your journey. It is definitely an inspiration, letting folks who are watching know that it's never too late to fulfill your dreams and your purpose that God has for you. Definitely stay on the line once this is done. If you're an author out there and you would like to come on the 21st Century Authors here for this is the MIM production, music industry makeover production, and we would love to highlight you out there, okay? Because again, we are more than just music. You know, we are authors as well, and books are still important. All right,
they really are.
Books are very important. So, and I'll share with you all. Yes, I'm working on something as well too. All right, because I said, I'm going to write this book, and something alluding to what you said earlier about, for us, how important writing is, writing things down, and just the manuscript itself is very important, and I'm realizing that for the past couple of years. So again, thank you for that, for the inspiration as well. All right, okay. Well, again, Dr. Nicole B. Simpson, we want to thank her so much. You need to go out and get her book. Go to her website, NicoleBSimpson.com. All right, it's right there. Reach out to her. Okay, and she may have some other services available too that you may need or whatever. But again, get this book, Dare to Dream, Pushing Past Your Pain to Pursue Purpose. And I'm telling you, the world needs what you have to offer. The world needs what you have to offer, because God put something in you on this. So thank you so much, ma'am. Just hold on, and again, we want to thank you all so much for joining us. You make sure you have a prosperous and safe day. Don't forget, tomorrow we have Critical Dialogue. We'll see you on there. Tune in at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time right here on my page, as we have the political debate here with the third Congressional Republican Party here in Hampton Roads. God bless you again. Thank you for those who tuned in. So, and remember, you matter, okay, in the kingdom of God. So don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there, okay? Just do what God has called you to do, and you'll be just fine, all right? Thank you so much. God bless you. We love you, and we will see you soon, okay? Peace.